Hi everybody, this is Tidepool 0.0.10, which was supposed to be about KM9 crystal gathering, but along the way I did quite a lot of unplanned improvements, as well as making something called word definition files. Before going in, let's have a look under the hood at the files that make up Tidepool. This is our shared Dropbox directory. And to run Tidepool, you simply double-click the jar file. We will have native installers for each operating system as well. And this directory contains all of the libraries that are being used by Tidepool. This contains audio files. This contains two-dimensional image files. This contains three-dimensional model files. This contains one quadrant of the terrain files. There's 6 of them here. And as you can see that each one of these is about 10 megs, so we probably won't have 6. But these correspond to the 6 ground types that I'll show you in a minute. And here we have the word definition file, which is a YAML file, and I'll show that later as well. Okay, let's go in. Clear the database and run the program. Whenever you clear the database, it generates a new random world using the words that are in the word definition file. Also, it looks to see if there are any images or models that have not been seen before, and it creates new words for them. So it's very easy to just add files to those directories and they start being used. Here you have an image item. As you can see, if you move around it, it's two-dimensional. Now there are also three-dimensional models, like this one, and this comes from the models directory. So there's going to be a mix of these two kinds. First I'm going to show you the new improvements to what already existed, so I'm going to run to the corner here. Notice that I can't run off the edge anymore, which is nice. And I'm going to fly. And let's switch the ground types. So this switches between 3 pairs. All of them are relief, then contour. So this is just plain relief, and then we have plain contour. And then it's street relief. So we have an actual street map. And then I hit it again, hit the G key again, and it shows street contour. Hit it again, and now we have aerial. And hit it one more time, and we have aerial contour. So these are all about 10 megs each. We're probably going to choose one or do something different. But this is just the topo quad that contains my own property. So I'm going to go down to the ground by hitting the slash key. And one thing I've added is this Command or Control I, and it shows you your current position, bearing, and orientation. So if I hit the 0 key, it brings me to the center of the map. If I hit Shift 0, it brings me to the center of the map, but 5,000 ticks up. So it's easy to kind of look around and get a sense of things. So those are some of the improvements that I made. Let's go back down to ground level. And I also made improvements to the item box. And let's go up to Brady Tank here. Take a look at it. If I double click it, now you notice that hand cursor? That shows me that I can act on that item. If I back up, now it's not close enough for me. I have to walk up to it. And now I can act on it. So if I double click, it shows me item properties. A lot of these are the same as before. We've also got bearing. So if I were to do, for instance, 90, it's going to turn it sideways. I can do scale to make it bigger. If I want to make it touch the ground better, in case the drawing doesn't quite touch the ground, I can put in a different Y offset. And here's where I can also define the cost of the item, which in this case is 10. I can also change the shape. So I can change this to a tulip. Let's make it down, go back down to 0. Okay, so the two main verbs in Tidepool, which represent the core of the gameplay, are now working. And they are melt and cast. So when you see an item, you can right-click on it to melt it. And what that does is it removes it, melts it down, and you get the crystals that were used to make the item. So as you saw before, the cost was 10. Well, I just earned 10 crystals. And if you haven't learned the word, which is the definition of an item, how you use the recipe for an item, then you also learn the word. Learning the word means that you can make new ones. So let's go around and melt a couple of items. Okay, that's flower 1. And let's go get that Brady tank. That one was worth 10. Now this hexagon house is worth a whole bunch. It's not working. There we go. It's worth 50. So you can see that I've earned 71 crystals. Well, what can I do with all this? I can make new items simply by clicking the name, the word, in the lexicon. So let's make a bunch of flowers. Yeah, let's do it so I can see. The orientation on these was a little off. Okay, let's make some Brady tanks. Now watch down here. You can see that the crystals are deducted when you make an item. Oh, that's right, it's big. I changed the definition of Brady tank to make it big. And then I can also add a hexagon house, which is really big. Oh, I couldn't do that because I didn't have enough crystals. You see, that was 42. So as you get down, see, now I can't make anything else. Actually, I can make 2 more flowers. All right, so that's the core part of the functionality here, is melting items and casting new ones. And these will play into a lot of things in the system, but more quickly, they'll be part of a game called Scrounger, which is going to come in the next version of Tidepool. So that's it for Tidepool 0.0.10. Oh, one last thing is the word definition files I forgot to mention. These are very simple files that define properties. So you have blue crystal, Brady tank, and so forth. So you can see author Brady. It defines the chance that something can show up, so you can make this more rare by making the number smaller. It goes from 0 to 100. And this allows us to add files to the images directory and the models directory, and then change their properties using a text editor very easily. So that's a word definition file. Okay, that's it for this version.